Hello and welcome. I am the Suit&Tie Dip&ChewGuy, and this is an entry onto the Dry Snuff, Nasal Snuff playlist. And we will be taking a look at this. And you're thinking to yourself, he already did that. But I didn't, because I checked. And I couldn't find what I was checking for until I found it tucked away on a long dead playlist. So this is Railroad Mills Plain. I did do a review of the Sweet, which has the labeling in blue and also denotes sweet. Why am I so far away from it? Okay, anyway. And I will link that at the end of this video. This is the plain. This is non-sweet because the Sweet was oh so sweet. So what you're looking at here is a 1.15 net weight ounce can. The product inside the can is 90% domestic, 10% foreign, and 100% leftover cigar tobacco. Sort of joking, sort of not. This is a product of Swisher International, their smokeless division out of Wheeling, West Virginia. All right. The website is www.swisher.com. So you can see that it's one label going around, plastic bottom, plastic top. On the top, they have quality Helm Snuff because this product, this brand, that is, was originally of the Helm Tobacco Company of Helmetta, New Jersey, before it went under and Swisher bought the rights. So I'm going to cut into it. Now, the caps on these are a little bit deeper, so it's right about there. They're papery bands. Whoa. They're supposed to be papery bands. The can is giving way. All right, hold on for a second. Now, this hasn't been a problem, this one, because there's not much to go over. What the heck is going on with this? Really? Okay, you know what? New plan. The banding wasn't tight around the can, so when you ran your thumb around it, it just started bubbling up in front of it, unable to cut, even with the knife. So what I'm expecting in here is what is going to transpire. What I was saying there before I realized this was a lost cause was that I am going to be attempting in all reviews to open products early in the review and then go over details later on. This one is not an issue because there's not much details to go over. That said, some of the other stuff where I've been opening product at like the 8-minute mark, that's no good. All the details will still be there. It will just be that I'm using the product, whatever it is, by the time we're going over them. And actually, the lid is not as deep as I thought it would be, number one. Not nearly as deep as the American Snuff products. The product is actually darker than I thought it would be. It's a little washed out with this camera. It is a washed out brown in general. It's a little darker, though, than what you're seeing there. It is bone dry and ultra fine. And it has the typical American dry snuff or Scotch snuff smell. It's tobacco. It's natural. There's no salt registering or anything, obviously, because if it was, you wouldn't be able to put up your nose at all. That said, I don't think many people are actually using this in their nose. I am going to, but I am also going to dip it. The warning label, which I've completely mangled at this point, even has a warning about mouth cancer. There you go. So, let me slide this way and get some out on my hand. It is extremely fine powder, extremely fine, and very dry. Although, to tell you the truth, this isn't as dry as I was expecting it to be. It is clumping a little bit when I move it around. So that, I mean, I know what's coming here. I know. So it doesn't really matter so much. Well, that's terribly convenient. So what I'm going to do here is I think I'm just going to pinch between two fingers and go like that. These American products, I am not a huge fan of. There have been a couple that have been standout, and although I didn't quite like them for my own personal use, I found them to have qualities that I appreciated. One was the checkerberry. It is in this play. All of these are in this playlist. The checkerberry was interesting. Okay, it was wintergreen and it was sort of a coarse cut with moisture. The Bruton was interesting because it was ridiculously strong and in the mouth had a lot of flavor. And yeah, that's it. The top, actually, you know what? The top was pretty good as a sweet. It was actually in the mouth. It had a sweet aspect to it. So without further ado and getting ready, do I have the pause ready? So I'm just. See, I know. At this point, I know. Like when I'm walking into an unmitigated disaster, I know ahead of time now. That is the bad part about doing hundreds of reviews. You're like, oh, yep, this is coming. This is going to happen. Oh my God, that's got to burn. Does more. Ah! Holy crap. Wow. Now, I haven't done any nasal snuff recently. And I haven't done any American scotches for a while. But good grief. Whoa, my eyes are watering. Okay, so the stuff is real light. Oh, crap. I'll be back in a second. Hold on. And I'm back. Holy cow. All right, I'm going to write that up as, because this stuff actually seems to have a little more moisture than these products usually have. I'm going to write that up as me not having done anything for a while. The upside to this is I had some nasal sinus congestion, and now I do not. As I expected, only the reaction was a little worse than usual. Very, very fine. Pretty darn dry. Although this one seems like it has a little bit more moisture than these usually do. Usually these products are, with the exception of the checkerberry, bone dry. Strong nicotine hit. Strong burn. You want to go real light with the uptake. Alright? Or it'll go all the way back and you'll get a drip. Which with these is not that a drip is ever pleasant, but these are definitely that is something you want to avoid. I would never, or I probably have in the past, but going forward and with starting with this one, I would never put bumps out of this. It's just too much and it's too light, and trying to get enough intake to get the bump off your hand is going to have you send it all the way back. So, strong nicotine, strong burn. Again, I have not done any nasal snuff recently. And I haven't done an American product probably since that Tops product, which I believe was also Swisher, which was quite a while ago. So the burn might have been worse. The seasoning might have been worse. It might have been because of me. That all said, I'm going to dip this. Now, a lot of people put this in the cap and do it. I pull out this. That is a 1980s short neck with a modified Prilla maker for loose snus, modified with a number 2 pencil in the end for reasons I've already explained and I'm not about to go into again. So I am going to get that open, and basically I am just pressing down on this until I meet resistance, and then I'm bringing it up, and that's what I'm doing here. Not holding together at all. Does have flavor though. Now I have said this in the past. Some of these, if you get the bit well formed, especially if you're using something like this, like me, and there's crap flying out of my mouth. Okay. The stuff's so fine that saliva doesn't flow through it. It basically sort of becomes like a brown marble in your mouth. And thus, after that happens, you don't really get any flavor, which makes it to a point where it's like, what's the point of this? This one has flavor, but it hasn't stayed in a good form. It's spread now along my front. Tell you what, it's got mouthfeel. I got contact nicotine absorption going on. Now, mind you, it's a freaking mess. There is no getting this stuff out in any regular, what we would be used to as dippers fashion. It's a mouth rinse. You could go to the faucet. It does have flavor though. Now, for a lot of people, this flavor is not going to be something that you're looking for. It's natural. Knowing that it's tobacco, you recognize it as tobacco. There is no salt aspect to it, so it's a natural, but not like a natural dip. Man, I'm feeling a little... I don't know if that was from in the nose or in the mouth. I got mouthfeel going on all around here. There's a good bit of flavor. It's not, you know... Again, this is not something most people are going to be looking for, okay? That all said, and as I usually say with these type of products, whether it be, you know, twists or plugs or this, if this stuff isn't bought and at least tried, at least bought once by a larger or a wider audience, this stuff will at some point disappear. Now, in Swisher's case, and as far as these products in America in general, they're actually probably safer than the twists from like R.C. Owens and whatnot, partly because these companies are getting rid of their leftover tobacco that can't be used for anything else by making this stuff. So in that way, these would be safer than a twist out of, you know, Eastern Kentucky or Tennessee, or a plug out of Middle Tennessee. But the age group that's using these is dying out. And I don't really see that age group passing this down to any great extent. So I would suggest that anybody that sees it and has the money at the time, they do, mind you, this is like a lifetime supply of this stuff. So I mean, but it is like, in my state, it is like $7. So it's not as cheap as a can of dip. Try it out. I mean, it's not, this is not going to be around forever unless people buy it. At some point, the scales will tip, and the companies will be like, yeah, well, we really want to keep getting rid of the excess tobacco like this to cut overhead, but the packaging is now outweighing, the price of the packages is outweighing what we're saving here, so we're going to have to call it quits. Even more important is when it comes to like small company twists and plugs. The twist aspect, the twist, especially RC Owens, that I'm worried about. That I think is not going to be long for this world unless we start getting traffic to those smaller companies and those products that aren't really suited to modern tastes. This has a little life left in it just because it's convenient for the companies. There's nicotine. There's nicotine in it. I mean, I'll keep it around. There's nicotine in it. And I may at some point try powdering a pipe bowl with this stuff. The nicotine's definitely there. There is flavor with it in the mouth. It's a rush in the nose. Either way, whether you're dipping it or in the nose, especially in the nose, this is literally like years worth supply. So this has been my review of Railroad Mills plain Scotch Dry Snuff. I will link the sweet version in one of the pop-ups at the end of the video here. I actually found it was in the experiments playlist. So that is that. I do hope you all are well. Thanks for tuning in here. Do take care of yourselves, and as always, God bless.